Good morning, writers. Let's get started filling out our writing learning intentions. Make sure you fill out today's date. And today as a writer, I am working on using the narrative checklist to improve my story. By this point, we should all be very familiar with the narrative checklist. Everybody should have set a goal on one of these different things at the beginning of the unit. And today we're going to check how we were doing on that goal and go back and look at all of the other different parts, including structure, development, and language conventions, to make our writing the best it can be. So remember, you're going to go through the checklist one part at a time and read through your story for each part, checking to make sure that you are not missing anything and adding things that you need to add. So the first part, you'd be checking overall. You need to check that you wrote the important part of an event bit by bit and took out any unimportant details that you might have. If you've got that down, make sure to check it off. Then you'll move on to lead. The lead is your beginning. You'll want to make sure that you showed what was happening and where, getting readers into the world of the story. Most likely to do this, you would be using one of the aspects of I add, either starting with some maybe dialogue or a big action scene to get your readers into your story. Then you're coming down to transitions. For transitions, in your story, we should see some words that mark passing of time, such as just then and suddenly, and after a while, and a little later. If you don't have any of those, maybe you're not yet, you would want to make sure to go back and add some of those transitions to your story. Next comes the ending. You'll want to make sure that you wrote an ending that connected to each of the other parts of your story, and that you used action, dialogue, or feeling to bring your story to a close. We know that authors of good stories never end with the end. We want it to be more exciting than that. Next comes organization and paragraphing. Remember that when we write narratives, any time a new character speaks should be a new paragraph. So some of us are going to need to work on this skill because many of us are not yet here. So anytime a new person is talking, you're going to need to go back and add new paragraphs. Next is elaboration. That's where you worked on really adding more to the heart of your story, including not only actions and dialogues, but thought and feelings. So really not just telling what happened, but showing it in words. And then coming down to your craft. So showing why characters did what they did by including their thinking, making some parts of the story go quickly and some go slowly, including precise details, and figurative language like similes, metaphors, and personification to bring your story to life, and using a storytelling voice to show emotion or tone of your story. And then we come down to spelling. So for this part, you should be looking through your whole story and circling any words that you are unsure are spelled correctly. Then you will be going to a dictionary or the small dictionary you keep in your binder and looking up those words and writing the correct spelling. And lastly, you'd be reading through to check for punctuation. This says, when writing long, complex sentences, I used commas to make them clear and correct. So you will definitely need to go back and look for commas in long, complex sentences. But you will also need to make sure you have punctuation at the end of every sentence. Let's get started practicing one of these together on the carpet. So we're going to focus right now on transitions. And again, you're looking for showing how time passed with words like just then, suddenly, after a while, and a little later. Go ahead and read through your draft, possibly underlining the different transitions that you see, and deciding if you are not yet, starting to, or yes. And if you are anything besides yes, you're going to want to go back and add transitions. Take some time to do this work now. Now, switch with your partner and look for transitions in their story. Notice how to do this work for just transitions took quite a while. So we really should be focusing on this whole checklist for the entire writing period today, really focusing on making our writing the best it can be. The revising and editing stages of writing are so important because it makes our writing easier to read for others. Let's work hard and have a great day.